It's the last day in Grenada, and the ladies go out with a bang, honey. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. We're here today to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 15, baby. This is the last day of the trip in Grenada, so the cash trip for the season is coming to an end, and this has been a good one. Before we get into it, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. So the episode starts off with them showing flashbacks from last night. The ladies was having a good old time last night, partying, turning up. We see flashbacks, everybody was drinking, they was twerking, they was in the pool. Yes, it was lit, okay? They were having a good time. So now we see it's time for chapter 3, Rebirth. We start off, we see Angela, she goes to visit Drew that morning, and they're talking about last night and how they had so much fun. Everybody was lit, everybody was drinking, and they bring up Brett and the whole situation when she was telling Shamia, I love you. I'm gonna be there for you no matter what. So Angela was like, she felt like Britt was coming from a genuine place, but then she made the mistake of looking at Drew. So Drew like, what I do? So they showed a flashback, and when Britt was basically giving her soliloquy to Shamia, you see Drew on the side looking like, she just looked like, okay, this is... And she was looking the same way we was probably looking, because no one felt like it was genuine. It all felt like acting. So Drew reenacted it and was like, honey, she was wondering if it was another actress in the room, honey. So they talk about how also they realize Kelly and Brett are not as close as, they were. They noticed a little bit of tension last night. So that's something they mention, and this also comes up later with some of the other ladies. So now we see Shamia. She's FaceTiming her mom, and she's checking up on Shia's condition. And the mom confirms what Gerald told her, how the nurse basically had her in the cold room. And she asked what the nurse had on, I believe, and I guess she said the nurse was bundled up warmly, so why isn't, Shia bundled up warmly like you are? So she's, Shamia feel away about that, and she's saying, if you're supposed to be like her caretaker, she needs you to be on point, and she can't take those kind of risks with a high-risk health child like Shia. And I do agree. So now we see Portia and Cynthia, they're chatting it up, chilling together. Portia is showing Cynthia this really oversized, fashionable hat that she plans on wearing for a photo shoot. So she wants Cynthia to do a photo shoot with her in that hat out there in Grenada. So Cynthia asked her what's up about Shamia, how's Shamia doing? So she said she spoke to Shamia, everything's fine. Shia's feeling much better. So Cynthia's happy about that. So then you hear a knock at the door, and it's like a real loud knock. So they're like, who's that? Knocking like they the police. So it was Phaedra. So Phaedra is coming by to stop by. So she comes in, and she was like, I was messing with that TV last night. I didn't know what I was doing. So we find out that Phaedra, when she goes to sleep, before she go to sleep, she like to watch TV. And her preference is to watch crime shows with gruesome crimes and those crime documentaries or whatever. That's basically how she likes to go to sleep, because, she worried about her ching-ching. So Portia was like, baby, Phaedra worried about some business because it's people to bury, okay? So now Phaedra brings up Angela, and she's like, that Angela is like a math teacher. She was basically saying how Angela gives Barbara Walters. She be asking math questions okay, and I want to ask you the next question, and Portia agrees. She's like, yeah, because when she want to ask you something, she zones in on you let me ask you something. So they're like, and I guess Phaedra's a little turned off by that. So, side note, why was Phaedra's feet up on the couch? She had on some slides or whatever, some sandals, but why was your feet on the couch, girl? Girl, you got on shoes. Anyway, that was just something I noticed that irked my nerves. Anyway, so Portia, somehow Britt came up, and Portia, I guess they bring up last night at the table. Yeah, they bring up last night at the table and how Britt was like, upset on how they approached her and about the whole donation thing. And basically they noticed how like Kelly and her, didn't seem like to be on the same page last night. And she also thinks Britt was like looking for drama. She said Britt was like a dog with a bone. Like, who is there shade? Looking for shade. Like, so Phaedra announces that she has some tea. So the ladies sit close for the tea or whatever. So basically, according to Britt, this is what Britt told Phaedra, that wherever Kelly goes, basically her glam team has to go with her. And I guess they're supposed to be sharing the glam team, but there seems to be some type of tension over the glam team. So the ladies feel like there's some type of tension or jealousy there. So Phaedra referred to Kelly and Britt in her confession. I don't remember if she said it in her confessional. I think she said it right there. She called them the fake freaking frack. So I was like, oh girl, I don't even think they were trying to be freaking frack. But anyway, so Portia points out how Kelly was quiet at dinner last night, like not really having her back. And Phaedra tells them how she talked to Britt last night and told her, like, she got to chill with all that weird stuff. Like, you got to come nice, like, show up nice, like, make people want to, show up fun. We all here for the fun and, like, the fantasy. And maybe that was fantasy last night when she was stripping for us, but, like, where's the fun? So, yeah, so basically, I don't know how the conversation got to, oh, yeah, Cynthia had a hood. I forgot, they talk about Britt's nipple. Something with her nipple or something, and then we find out Cynthia has a hood, if you know what I mean, down there. Okay, she got a hooded, CL, alright? So, that's what we find out. So now we see Britt going to visit Kelly. Kelly lets Britt know that she has a court date coming up, her court date, which is hopefully her final court date to finalize the divorce. And they talk about that a little bit. And then Kelly asks Britt how she feels about last night. And Britt lets her know, like, she feels the way. She felt like it was like a gang up and some type of shade. And she also lets Kelly know how she felt like she didn't really support her in that moment. So Kelly brings up how when she had her event, how she told the ladies that when she first started her body shapewear line, how she took her whole staff to Miami or whatever, and everybody got whatever procedure they wanted. So she was like, it's stuff like that. When you tell me if you could spend your money on stuff like that, you have a bigger purpose. Like, why you couldn't have that same energy with donating to others. So Britt tells Kelly that it's okay for it to just be about Kelly, like just worry about yourself pretty much. And I guess Kelly's more of a charitable person than Britt, I guess, but it's clear. So we also realize they talking, and Britt somehow brings up Kelly's team. She says she feels like Kelly's team is like her shield. She shields herself with her team, with her glam team. And that comes up in her confessional. Kelly is saying, she was like, Britt didn't have a stylist. When she was going through the whole Kenya thing, she wanted to be a friend, so she thought it would be cute for them to share stylists, for her to let her use her stylist too. But she was like, at some point, girl, you need to find your own team. And she was like, girl, like, you want my gynecologist too? So Kelly is clearly oversharing a team with Britt. So we see that that's going to be an issue coming up. Phaedra already told Portia and Cynthia that Britt was, complaining about it to her. So then Britt tells Kelly that it's okay for you to, like, give me a lesson or check me or whatever, but I prefer you do it in private. Like, it's no need for you to come at me at the table with a bunch of other females when they're coming at me at the same time and you're, like, palling on with them. You're supposed to be my friend. So, wait till we get alone and then maybe we can have that conversation. And that's how that scene pretty much. So now we see Portia and Angela. They're chilling at the pool. not the pool they were hanging in last night on their villa, but I guess another pool on the property. So they're talking about last night and how they turned up. So they're about to go get them some drinks when Shamia and Kelly roll up and match their outfits, matching swimsuits. They wasn't the exact same swimsuit, but it was definitely giving Destiny's Child, like the same pattern with different, like, Shamia had on a one piece and Kelly had on a two piece, and it was just giving. All right, twin, where have you been? That's what Angela said. So they looking like, all right. So Angela was like, girl, I know Britt gonna fall away. So now Cynthia arrives, and they're all chilling, and Portia calls shot o'clock. So they have some shots. Then we see a little while later, Drew arrives, and when she arrives, Portia and Cynthia is on the grill cooking, and she's like, all right. Yes, I didn't expect to see this. So she comes out and sits at the pool with Shamia and Kelly. And the energy is good. I must lie. She's saying, oh, I had so much fun with y'all last night. You know, that's what we all needed or whatever. And they're like, yeah. So they decide, Kelly, Shamia, and Drew decide to make a pact. They want to keep the energy good. And, you know, feel like if they have a fight, instead of dragging it out, let's just get it over with and move on. So that's the pact they made. So let's see how long that pact lasts, all right? So now the chairman of the tourism, Randall, the guy who Kelly was on a FaceTime with earlier, or was it Shamia? I forgot. I think it was Kelly Peoples that hooked the whole efforts, the relief efforts up with them. He comes to visit them to give them a welcome to Grenada, and also to, you know, give them some things for the event they're going to tonight, which is called Jab Jab. All right, so Phaedra arrives shortly after, and then Britt arrives after Phaedra. So he's talking with them, and they talk him into having a shot, and they're all like, all right, he's fine. They feeling him, and Portia points out that he's bow-legged. So they have a shot together, and now they ask him about Jab Jab. So they're asking him about Jab Jab, and he's telling them the history of Jab Jab, on how it actually is like liberation, because back in the days, slaves were called jabs. A jab was a slave, and basically jab means devil. So the oil comes into play because I believe, I'm not sure if the owners threw the oil on them, but I think they throw the oil on themselves as a way of liberating themselves at the parade and stuff. So it's like if you're from New York or somewhere where they have like Labor Day parades, they have this event before Labor Day called Juve, which is like the morning before, or the morning of, early before the parade. So I guess that would be something similar. So pretty much he tells them the history of it and how pretty much the slaves took over it. Just like we as black people took over the N-word, and we kind of made it our slang. So they took the jab, the idea of being slaves, and liberated themselves. So this is an event that they have every year. So the ladies are excited about that. And when guy is leaving after having a shots with them, Portia's recording him walking away, like, let me catch this, honey, like, because he was bow-legged, so they was watching him while she recording him walking away. So now, Drew and Kelly are sitting off to the side, and they're talking. They're still by the pool, Drew, Kelly, and Shamia. And Kelly, they're talking about, I think Drew asked her about, you know, the whole divorce thing she got coming up. And then Kelly ends up showing her something, and they realize that they have the same anniversary. Not only do they have the same anniversary, they have a lot in common as far as what they're going through in their relationships. They both, I think, Kelly just celebrated her 10-year anniversary, and this is about to be Drew's 10-year anniversary. So Drew in the confessional says that she thought she was going to be with Ralph for the rest of her life. Child, I don't know how you thought that, because from season 1, I saw it was Trouble in Paradise, okay? The very first episode, when we first met y'all, okay? So, yeah, so I don't know why she thought that, but she also lets us know that since that last court date, when they went to court and she came out mad and he came out happy, they pretty much ceased communication ever since then. So I was like, oh, okay, so they're not speaking at all. So now, Portia excuses herself and says she got to go do something, and she grabs Shamia with her because Portia's actually planning something. So she takes Shamia with her. She got a surprise for the ladies. And Kelly also has to leave to go take her call to speak with her lawyer about this whole court thing. So Angela checks in on Britt, like, hey, Britt, how you feeling since last night? You know, and Britt lets her know, I felt away, but me and Kelly had a talk, and she was pretty much speaking for Shamia and giving me Shamia's point of view. And pretty much filling them in on her and Kelly's conversation. So now Portia comes back out and she's ready to introduce someone to the ladies. So Shamia comes out and she's actually wearing the hat that Portia was showing Cynthia earlier, that Portia wanted Cynthia to do a photo shoot of her in. She decided, since Shamia going through whatever she's going through with Shia right now, and she was kind of stressed, she wanted to be there for her friend and show up for her friend. So she decided to give the hat to Shamia and let her have the photo shoot and let her have that moment. So Shamia does the photo shoot in the hat. They take the pictures. Cynthia plays the producer or whatever you call that, video director. She directs the video shoot, and they take the shots. So now we see Kelly. She's on her call with her attorney talking about this whole divorce thing she's going through. And she's saying how she's kind of like sad that it's coming with her to Grenada because she wanted to come there to refresh, renew, reset, and not have to worry about this. That defeats the purpose of going. And I'm like, girl, well, maybe you should have scheduled this trip at another time because you had a court date going on. Or something, you had a call with your lawyer for this court date. You missed your daughter's first day of school, girl. Maybe y'all should have took this trip the week before, or maybe the weekend after. I'm just saying. But anyway, she lets us know that he had bought her a house when they got married or whatever, and he ended up selling the lot to a friend. So the lawyer is trying to look into that to get the documentation, because Kelly feel like she owes something from that. Okay, you owe me something. So now we see later on the ladies are getting ready for Jab Jab. Yay! Shamia's luggage finally showed up. It came on the last day, but hey, better late than never. She got her outfit for Jab Jab because she could be like, So we see everybody getting together. Cynthia is on her FaceTime with Amsterdam, and she's showing them how she made some what she calls hair condoms. Because, she got braids. Cynthia and Angela both had braids. So Cynthia got her braids like in two low ponytails, and she took some stockings that she cut. Well, she tells us this in the after show, but she pretty much covered them with some kind of stockings and made hair condoms. So she's showing Amsterdam, and he's laughing at her. So now they all ready to head out to go to Jab Jab. But before though, it's shot o'clock. So the ladies say shot. I don't think Britt took one though. But anyway, so on the way there, in car one, we got Phaedra, Portia, Kelly, and Britt. And they're talking about how they love their man to be all up under them. They like attention and affection, and they want a man that's going to be all up under them, honey. So then Britt said something about licking her feet or something, and Phaedra was like, I don't really like nobody messing with my feet. You could put your tongue to better use. And then Portia said she had somebody that was into that, like, a lot. In car number 2, we got Shamia, Cynthia, Drew, and Angela. They taking shots, turning up. So they ready for Jab Jab. They ready. So the ladies finally arrived to Jab Jab, and they are lit. Jab Jab is lit. And the girl, they just looking around, and they are in awe, and they are loving it. And Phaedra cracked me up.
These men are on fire in more ways than one. Oh my! And I'm ready to get burned. Go! A lot. Everyone is loving on each other and grinding on each other. It's just community. It's culture. It's blackity black. We are liberated people, and we should be able to celebrate ourselves and flip and reverse insults however we want.
She was like, ooh, these men got fire in more places than one. She's like, Mama is ready to get burned, honey. Now, see, Phaedra, this is the Phaedra I love. This is the Phaedra I want to see, okay? Not all that unnecessary shade. I don't need to see you shading people you don't even know for no reason. Just be funny. Be this witty Phaedra that says stuff like that. That's what I want to see, girl. Yes, finally. Okay? You were pretty good this episode. I enjoyed you this episode, Faye. I did. So basically, they're going through the crowd. They're dancing with the people. They're loving the jam. It's just jamming. It's lit. It looks like it's so much fun. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. I was partying with them through the screen like, So yeah, but they end up making their way to this truck that they're gonna go on to drive through the parade in. So they go through the truck and they lit on the truck. Portia's dubbing with the guy. Cynthia like, I don't want no man all over me or no oil when I got a man in Instagram. Girl, bye. You have jab. Like Portia said, girl. I'm in jab, okay? Enjoy, okay? We see some guy, he picks Phaedra up and puts her on her back, honey. And he's doing that. You know how they do. So, yes, they was getting it in. And Phaedra was loving every bit of it. They made a joke saying they all got pregnant by the same guy. They all got the same baby daddy. So definitely, when they get on the truck, when they first got on the truck, I meant to tell y'all too, it was shot o'clock. So they had a really good time. It looked really fun. Jab was lit. And it was a good representation of Grenada. So the next day, we see the ladies' clothes, whatever they had on was a mess. They wore pretty much, they didn't wear much, and a lot of them protected their hair and stuff. So, yeah, but pretty much we see just boots and all that mud and oil all over the place. And the ladies are packing because it's time to go home now, unfortunately. So, as they all meet up out front, they go sit down to chat. And we find out Britt tells the ladies how she scrubbed Phaedra clean, honey, because, yeah, they had to get all the oil off of them. So she told Phaedra, bend over and spread them. She said she scrubbed every inch of her body. And Phaedra was like, at this point, honey, Britt seen every inch of my body. Every inch, honey. So if I got a, she said if I got a hood, well, she said a KKK, because that's what she called the hood. She said if I got a KKK, Britt will tell you, she'll know. So then Kelly comes, so they serve food. It looks like it was lunch, or it looked like it was breakfast. I thought it was a burger, but I don't know what it was that was in between the buns, and it looked like they had eggs too, I think. But anyway, so they're eating breakfast, and they ask Kelly how her call went with the lawyer, and if she's ready, and she's like, I'm just as ready as I'm gonna be. And then she tells them that after the call, or during or something, her crystal had fell and broke in half. So they're like, so what does that mean? Does that mean something? And she was like, yeah, that signifies the end of a relationship. So pretty much it's the end. She's going through this divorce, so she felt like that was like a clear sign from the energy, the gods, or whatever the crystals bring, okay? The crystal universe. So Portia arrives in the middle of her telling them this, so she don't know what's going on. So Kelly decides that she wants to toss the crystal over to get rid of it and to accept the end of the relationship. So that's some type of special moment for her. So the ladies all join her for it. It looked like Portia didn't know what was going on, so I don't think Portia was with it or whatever. And she felt funny about the crystals anyway, because when Kelly first brought it out, she was like, wait a minute, what kind of crystal is that? Okay? So yeah, so she's talking and she's throwing a crystal, and as she's doing that and saying I had a good time, and they're recapping the trip, and she's saying thank you all ladies, they show a clip of 72 hours later, and it looked like the next episode, but baby, it looked like the tides been turned. Kelly and Britt are going at it. Phaedra has some tea on Angela. It's just, ooh. Yes, I'm like, all right, what is going on, girl? What happened to the pact? But anyway, guys, the episode ended with the ladies pulling off to leave Grenada, saying, bye, Grenada, love you. We don't owe Grenada nothing. So that's the end of this episode, and also the end of the Grenada trip. This was a very fun trip. It was a great trip. Good trip. Not my favorite trip, but up there in the top five, maybe. It was fun. I enjoyed this trip for them. Maybe the top three. No, I don't know about it. But yeah, as far as this episode goes, I'm going to give it a solid 3. It was a solid episode. It was a good episode. Let me know what you guys think. What do you rate this episode from 1 to 5? What was your favorite part? My favorite part was Jab Jab, of course. And hit me up in them comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and have a great day. Oh, actually, before I go, I did watch the after show. Kelly and Britt, they talk more about the drama. And according to Britt, basically, Kelly felt away. Kelly said that Britt had some type of secret meeting with the Glam Squad at her house and she didn't know about it. So then Britt said Kelly had a meeting with the Glam Squad and told them not to work with her no more. So it was just some drama over that. They talked about Jab Jab and how they had a good time and they loved it. Cynthia told us more about her hair condoms. That's when she said it was some tights she had and she cut them and basically made little hair condoms. But however, the oil still went through it. So her hair still got messed up. They talked about the different events that they did. The Waterfall versus the Cooking with Kelly. And Shamia is like, God, we had the better group. We had more fun than y'all. And the Waterfall group looked like they did have more fun. They had that iconic waterfall scene. Basically, Kelly said the whole time Drew was looking for her bug spray. Britt wasn't even interested in cooking nothing, and Angela was turned on by the chef. So, yeah. And then they talk about the crystal, and Portia basically let us know how she was confused about the crystals because, you know, she not really into crystals. That's not her thing. That's some juju to her. So, yeah, that was the after show pretty much. Nobody was on Watch What Happens Live, so I don't know, maybe because the season is ending. But yes, that's it, guys. See you on Thursday for Real Housewives of Miami. And please, if you haven't, please go watch, like, and comment on my Real Housewives of Miami season premiere episode. If you don't watch Miami, well, this is the perfect time to get into it. It's a brand new season, girl. Get in from the beginning. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.